Alright, so this is something different. I don't usually do this, but um, I was kind of asked to, so I'm going to jump in and do it. So there's a big Moogle Cup async that Ross Rastafari put together, and it's all the mentors and mentees for Moogle Cup. So the idea here, and just as like a prelude to this conversation, I'm not necessarily like there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna put out VODs like if the for all the mentors that are running it, they're gonna do solid, normal things. Um, like they're not gonna be as aggressive as I'm about to be. I'm going into this with the mindset of I'm gonna push the limits and just see like how fast I can make the scene go. I don't really, and that's not to say that there's definitely a place to do solid checks. Like this isn't gonna be like me, you know. I'm not gonna throw all abandon all like safeties altogether. Like I want to finish the seed, right? But I think the big thing on my mind here is I want to make it such that it's a different kind of video than everybody else's. And what I mean by that, like, if I really push the limits, like, what can I do with a seed? I think that Moogle seeing that might be. It's not something that's easily emulatable, but it at least like gives insights into a different way to play the game. So like that's my mindset going into this. And that's not to say, yeah, anything else that anybody else does is like right or wrong or anything like that. But I guess one thing that helps me is seeing like the absolute like you push everything to the limit and then it's like okay well now you see what the limit is and then it's like okay well scale back from that you can do this 80% of the time and you're good. Worlds Collide is a game of do it 80% of the time and you're good, and so that's what I'm thinking here for whatever it's worth for anybody that watches this, anybody that sees after the fact, that sort of thing. That's kind of the thought in my head going into it. So, with that being said, I think is about as ready to go as I can be. All right, let's see if I fall flat on my face saying I'll be super aggressive. So, starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh wait, yeah, it's 21. All right, 21 checks. I'll try to remember that this time. 3, 2, 1, go. So Rage and Throw is an interesting start. I'm looking for earrings for Celeste, and I'm looking for schemes for Shadow. I don't need a ton. I just need enough to get by. This is a little bit of a crappy start for like pure speed. Let's see, empties. It basically got nothing there from Narsh. Let's see, Genji armor is probably the first decent thing that I've actually seen. There was nothing decent in that armor shop, so I'm not too worried about it. So I grabbed some shurikens and I grabbed a couple bolt edges, full intention of coming back later if there's something decent. There's nothing decent, so there are people that will probably sell that Genji armor. I'm not going to sell Genji armor before I know what my defense is. Because, like, some of the checks I have are really going to be grind checks, and I can't like take the risk of just falling flat in this suit. I'm actually happier to sell that those 2x potions than I am anything else that I got. Oh, hey TJ, how's it going? Appreciate the good luck. Let's see, Mura's money, GP's money. So all of a sudden I have about 30k. In the Mura's probably like 35 really. So if there's decent stuff in this item shop, I'm probably going to take it. And of course there isn't. So every seed, you're gonna end up doing a lot of this looting. I'm doing this looting. This is a high like GP seed, honestly, with the need to load up for throw. Like I'm looking for ammunition to throw. So both my rage user and my thrower is gonna get those earrings in this seed. So Elixir can go, Ball Ring can go, and oh yeah. Let me actually get the white dress that I wanted. I'm gonna grab 2 fire rods. There's a lot of people that'll tell you just grab like 20 of them and call it good, but I don't necessarily want to do that right now. Like, until I kind of know what my offense is, I want to leave a few options in my pocket. Like, I may have to do Zen Thief, I may have to do some other stuff. Like, I kind of need to know where I'm at money-wise before I just, like, invest everything in fire rods. Right now, I really want to use rods more as, like, emergency offense for, like, tough bosses. Like, if a Doomgaze pops out, if a Chad pops out, something that isn't going to be just kind to me. Tri-Talk, obviously. So earrings, 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 and earrings. And there's a Moogle charm. You know what? I didn't put the white dress on Celeste. I really want the white dress on her here so that I can get the most out of this fight. Box set's gonna be the first raise I use. So box set is a meteor. One thing I will like recommend to people is take a look and see if you can learn at least like, you don't need to know all the rages, but know a few of the rages. If you know a few of the rages, you can kind of maneuver through the seed much easier than what other people would be able to. It puts you in a better spot, like you have options that other people just won't have. So taking those two fights, I used both schemes that I have. I don't really want to take more fights because it's going to take time. I don't have any magic for Ice 3. I mean, I already learned Ice 3, which is the key thing. But I think right now it's more how quickly can I get from check to check. I have respectable defense on both Shadow and Celeste, who are my two main fighters. Celeste is obviously my biggest damage dealer with Ice 3. So I'm playing the game right now to really get them set up. And then, like, if there's anything that overflows that's good utility, it's going to go on Strago, with the intention of trying to get him set up later. Celeste is going to eventually probably be the better physical attacker of the group. But I have to, like, make one decision at a time here. So if there's any way to get that, I'm gonna get that. So backplate dress can go, that can go. So I took a pretty significant risk there. And I'm going to parlay that into one more big risk. So it's not quite ideal that I'm going to go in and do Opera House right now. And I also didn't really want to sell that gold hairpin, but for an experience egg, it's absolutely worth it. So at level 9, I think that Ice 3 and 2 Fire Rods is just barely enough to make this work. So I'm playing that game here where, as long as this isn't basically Gold Dragon maybe? Yeah, in this situation, I have to guarantee this fight. So Brontor is Fire 3. So what I'm hoping is that I can get Fire 3 come out quickly here before I die. Celeste. Stop doing not Fire 3. I'm resetting if I see Acid Rain pop up. That's unfortunate. I could have made the move of just burning the Fire Rod. I didn't want to burn the Fire Rod because that would left me with pretty much nothing for the rest of the seed. So no Goblin, no Rain Man, nothing that used Bolt 3, at least nothing that I saw that was obvious. So we're going to run that back one more time. So I'm going to try to keep Shadow alive here. This is going about as poorly as it possibly could have, though. Alright, if you're not going to do physical attacks, then just don't do physical attacks, buddy. That's unfortunate. I was on to a really good start. So, whenever you try something that doesn't work, you end up having to just pivot, make a decision, just move on. Don't overcommit to something like that. So I have next to no money. Happy to take a few extra chests here and a few extra things just to see if I can get something that makes this a little more convenient. It's regrettable that the checks didn't work out the way I was hoping it would, but it's okay. So that second fight is not really worth fighting, but this fight is worth like 2 or 3 fights. I'm intentionally saving that water edge. More most likely, I'm going to need to use schemes for some other fight down the line, and I'm going to need money for those schemes. So I don't mind taking a few extra ones here, a few extra fights, just to fully get online with this, a really good grind here. If I can get out of this fight, I want to get out of this fight. This fight's meaningless to me. The Ursus fight is the one that actually matters. I didn't even make a really good attempt to try to dodge that fine, because I really want this fight. As many of them as I can get. I'm taking advantage of this turn here to just get Straga a little bit more health. Yeah, unfortunately that Ursus ran away. That's okay though. I'll still get decent money, not as good as it would have been otherwise. Yeah, just from that like series of checks, like you'll see it real fast here, just how online my team is now. So this is a level 10 boss that I'm about to fight. Yeah, now you do Fire 3. Thank you, game. So I do want to look real quick just for schemes. Alright, doesn't exist. I'm pretty much gonna move on then. So Mirage Vest is actually one of the best items in the game. Since I'm in this area, I'm going to go ahead and do this too. So that dragon fight is far less important to me now that I got through that burning house and got so many levels. So now I'm starting to just decide, okay, well, where's the rest of my power at? So 10. Yeah, again, not a really great start because of the wipes, but like as soon as you get past the wipes, it's like, okay, I got something brewing now. Like I got so many levels out of that that I'm pretty much in an okay spot. 15. 18. About. How about 2 more? Alright, 3 more, that's good. I'm gonna go back real quick and just see if I can see Atlas Armlets. It's the one thing that I don't have that will speed up the seed significantly. I don't remember looking at this relic shop. So no Atlas Armlets is kind of unfortunate, but with that being said, I feel pretty confident at this point. With Ice 3 and Fire Rods, I can probably get through Fanac's Tower. So that is another like check on the list right now. And I would know right away whether it's a character or an Esper. Right now I'm kind of hoping that I spike a character somehow without having to do all of Magitech or all of Floating Continent. Those are slow checks, it just takes a long time. Like the checks I've already done take a long time. I'd like to not compound the damage more than I already have. Like, it's not quite ideal that I went into Thamasso 3 times. So I'm gonna look at, you know what, I'm gonna go for next tower. I thought about going to Zen there. It's more important for me to know what the answer is. The answer is definitely not that, so... I'm gonna go ahead and just do Match Tech. And if Match Tech doesn't pan out, then I'll end up at Floating Continent. I think that I could get through Match Tech and Floating Continent. If my luck is good, I'll get at least a character, if not two. And it'll be around 40-some minutes. So that wouldn't be bad if that's how this ends up. It's a little slow, but it's not unreasonably slow. Unfortunately, I've had to sacrifice a few things just for the sake of speed. Like I said, this isn't like a fast check start. You have to end up committing to some kind of power, and the power I ended up trying to commit to, was power that I couldn't achieve, so... It's unfortunate that's how the Blue Dragon worked, but from here on out, I think it'll be quicker. Yeah, at this point, that one's gone. It's easy game. Normally, you would want to have no, that offering's kind of unfortunate. Doesn't really do much for this seed. Yeah. I mean, getting Ice 3 on another character, there might be something to that on Straga. Or wait, Straga already has it. Yeah, at this point, I'm just going. I don't think I really particularly care. The most important thing for me at this point in the seed is probably getting a little bit more money so I can buy a second egg. If I can get enough money for Zen Thief at the same time, that would be best, but second egg is probably #1 priority here. $4,500, that's good. I do have an elixir, but I'd really not want to sell an elixir at this point because I may have to really use that. I'm intentionally not using anybody with single target. If I use Shadow, it's just going to be a waste of time. I'm still going to end up just multicasting, so... So Doom is weak to holy damage, or pearl damage. So that makes this fight go much faster, being able to do that. If I didn't have Illumina, throwing with shurikens would probably be the next best way to do damage here. Once he does his aura shaking, he's also got Reflect and Image. Illumina has 100% hit rate through Image, so you don't have to worry about that. But Reflect kind of takes a lot of options off the table. You kind of have to do like a breakable, if you break a Fire Rod, that dodges any Reflect, that sort of thing. So those are the kinds of options that you're looking at that point. So I really want this to be a character. I need to get out of the funk of just getting Espers. And of all the characters, Natural Magic Natural Magic Realm is a good one. I was just looking quickly to see kind of what she did have, if there's anything meaningful there. Rexel has high magic defense, so like Ice 3 there is really representative of how strong Celeste is, more so than that being a great option. He is weak to Ice, so if you're going to use it, that's the best one to use. But that was more out of necessity than like optimized routing. So knowing that I have Realm, I believe Realm's going to have my other characters. Let's see. So I really want to get earrings on, or experience eggs on both Celeste and Shadow. Oops, I want to go to Esper Mountain. So right now, at 4 and 6, I still kind of need both Espers and characters. So I don't mind that this is a dead check here, or potentially a dead check. It's definitely not a character, because the sprite that came out isn't a character sprite. Yeah, for the rest of the seed here, I am going to be looking at every Esper to see if I can get better strength or magic power. But that's all I'm really looking for. Otherwise, I'm looking to get like Doom, Mute, things that'll be handy for Final Kefka on Straga. I really don't need much else. Yeah, Mute is really good to have on Strago here, so I'm just going to put that on. Oops. Step one square too far. Insect or Insecure, is that how you'd say that? That's a Berserk Esper. It's actually a really good rage to use against Magimaster. Doesn't usually come into play, but if you happen to see it, it's an option that most people wouldn't think to use. It's actually a very nuanced thing that you could do that is helpful when it pops up. So slight difference between Realm and Shadow, but the answer is that they both did enough damage to kill the enemy, so we're good. I haven't really needed to heal at all. If I was using more magic or putting myself in a different spot, I'd feel different about that. So Goddess absorbs pearl damage. And so Shadow's damage is actually relatively high. With that being said, he's still outpacing his pearl damage by 2 grand, 2,500. So I'd rather do back attacks with Shadow with the risk of doing pearl. And in the end, that actually worked out a little bit faster than if I tried to do like Ice 3. Throwing does back attack damage too, so if I threw shurikens, I probably would have done about 3 grand, 4 grand shuriken. So I do want to look at the relic shop now that I've gotten a few fights out of my what do you call it? Out of my way. So Genji Glove is a really good item to have if you have the weapons to go with it. If you don't have the weapons to go with it, it's just another thing. Actually, I'm gonna just do this menu right now. I would like to have one other spell other than Ultima. So most likely, Amara's check's gonna be character 6. You can make the case I don't need this dragon at this point, but I'm gonna do it just for the convenience of doing it more than anything. You don't always need to use Ultima. Ultima is a slow spell to use, but sometimes it actually does come in play as a really good spell. And this is one of those moments where it might help me get through checks a little bit faster than I would otherwise. So best case scenario is this Tritalk is an Esper. If this Tritalk's an Esper, then I'll be on easy streak for the rest of the seed. Also, it's a really nuanced thing. It saves fractions of a second, but I'm clearing the menu just so the game doesn't have to undraw the menu at the end of the fight. Speeds up getting to the like the victory message a little bit sooner, like quarter of a second. At this point, I don't necessarily need another egg. I already have two. Like, eggs are cool, but there's a limit where, like, no matter how many eggs you have, or once you get to so many eggs, it's cool, but, like, that's all it is. Like, you can only have so many eggs before it's just uncomfortable for everybody. Touch the eye means that I'm getting a character here, which is really good. I know from my looking before that Fanac's Tower is a character. Actually, Bolt 3 would have been a faster way through this. Strago basically would have one-shot him. I still don't have Atlas Armlets at all, which is really unfortunate for this point in the seed. Make sure you don't forget to talk to the Mog. Shock's a good ability, but limited usefulness right at this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and do Lone Wolf and Kefka Narsh, and hope that I get at least one Esper out of the two. If I can, then I could just finish the game and it wouldn't be too much of a problem at this point. So I know where Fanac's Tower is as far as the Espers. I'm going to need at least, say, somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes to finish this. So it's a little slower than what I was imagining. Some of that is that blue dragon fight, and some of it's just the routing. This is a little bit unfortunate in terms of routing. This is actually it's a good Moogle Cup seed in terms of it forces you to do checks that may not be comfortable. Now, is floating continent the answer? Will obviously be a good question. So, like, if somebody beats me in this and the answer was floating continent had, like, the best possible characters for speed, then not much that I can do about that. So, Edgar, Locke, this combination of characters here does kind of introduce the opportunity to do skip relatively quickly. Wasn't planning on doing skip, wasn't even thinking like even fractionally about doing it, but at this point it might not be a bad idea. So I kind of struck out with, you know, what I was looking for, what I really wanted. And, you know, when you strike out on the thing that you really want, it's like, you know, next best thing that you can do is just start chasing, you know, fast checks. Going up to FC at this point is kind of a It's a slow man's game. It's going to take about 10 minutes. If I was lucky enough that the first 2 checks were the right answer, it still takes at least 5. Because you have the ground fights, 2 boss fights, and then, well, actually 3 boss fights before you get the 2 checks. And that's not to say that one of them won't be, you know, one could be a dead check, the other one could be a character. There's a lot of risk in doing that, so I'd prefer not to deal with that risk. I didn't want that. Sorry, Edgar, you're a good guy, but not for this party. So, my hope here is that between Figaro Castle, South Figaro Cave, and Narsh Weapon Shop, that I can get 2 espers. If I end up getting a character from any of these, I all of a sudden go straight to South Figaro Cave, and then... Actually, you know what? I still do the same 3 checks, I think, now that I think about it. Like, the fastest thing here is to get a character, or get 2 espers. However, I need to get 2 espers. Let's see, Carbuncle, that's good. This also, I think, the best parking spot is just north of the castle. I know some people don't like parking there, but I think it's the fastest way, and it's the easiest, like, mentally, because you're just walking straight north and south. There are certain things in this game where, like, you might sacrifice 1 or 2 seconds to do something that's mentally less stressful, and that's okay. Honestly, it's probably for the best for you and for everybody to, you know, make moves that are just easy for you to get from point A to point B. So there's one thing that I don't have that would be extremely nice here. I'm intentionally gonna switch worlds a little bit further away and look at a few relic shops. So the one thing I hate here is that I don't have any kind of physical damage increase. No Atlas armlets at all. So that's really good. That's exactly what I needed. The next best thing that could be here is really a second Illumina. If there's an Illumina here, you'll see a really fast endgame. If there's a Ragnarok, it would also be really good. In lieu of those things, I don't know. There's not much I would take at this point. I already have Genji Glove, so like that's Flame Shield's a better high tier item for me. So based on how this seed kind of forced me to grab power, at this point, obviously, just going to go ahead and do skip. The order that your party shows up left to right, top to bottom in your airplane select is also the same, like, numbered order 1 through 14 or 1 through 12 on the Kefka fight screen. So it's a good little like tidbit. Like, if you like characters at the end, or if you have like a cluster of characters at the end or beginning, you can actually manipulate it so that your people that are your mules, your Moogle charm holders, are specifically the ones that are like in a certain position in your party, basically. So you may wonder why I bought 2 Atlas Armlets and 2 Hyper-Wrists. I fully intend to move this Illumina over to Celeste. So Shadow's going to throw stars for most of the endgame, and then everybody else is really just along for the ride. Yeah, another egg doesn't really matter. I didn't even equip the 3rd one, let alone the 4th one. I think Celeste's Ice 3 is enough to do this, but Red Dragon does have a lot of HP. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to actually do the menu to set up for Final Kefka right here before I warp out. So I'm going to get all the right espers in the right places and all that. All the right equipment in the right places, like all of it. So I'm on Hyper-Wrist, Atlas Armlet. So if you need to heal your MP at all, you want to bring the whole party in. If you don't care about your MP, what you can do is just put one character in your party and just go. A lot of people will just put one character in their party and just go, but the reason why you would bring everybody is to get your MP heal. So I left Amaro a co-pilot, no big deal. Don't tell Glue I did that, please. He wouldn't appreciate it whatsoever. So this is the idea behind having that egg on Shadow the whole suit. Now this is going to get a little scary. You know what, I'm okay now. One more shuriken is this way. He has about 36 scream at 40 scaling. And I'm not even at 40 scaling, I'm a little bit under, so. I forgot to put the Illumina on Celeste, so that'll be like the big thing that I do in my menu here. Him throwing for about 8,000, 9,000 in a Shuriken though, pretty much guarantees my damage output for Final Kefka. So I don't have to worry about that at all. Also, Locke being alive means that he could be my 5th character in the final party. Usually I'll specifically try to take people that can be alive. If they come in, like, they can throw potions or whatever, even if I haven't put equipment on them. So you do want to kind of keep an eye on that over the course of the seed. So you see Celeste basically hit for max damage, which is perfect. It's exactly what you want here. This Larry's actually weak to Doom. He also has about like 8,000 HP at max scaling, which is why I did Ultima and then just normal fire. I was trying to do the easiest thing. Ultima takes a little bit long to cast, so I was trying to do something that was a little bit quicker. So I do have Berserk. By the time I cast 3 Ultimas, he's not going to do anything to me that's actually going to cause real damage. So I'm just going to cast Ultimas and go. Like, again, I'm looking for the fastest thing at this point. At this scaling, Magic Master has about 26 grand HP. So all I'm really looking to do is just get through this as quickly as possible. Now, after this fight, Celeste and Realm are both part of the final party. So I'm looking to... I need to heal everybody. I need to just make sure I'm good. As good as I can be. That Vanish is basically irrelevant. It could be emergency calmness protection if Phantom messes up somehow, but that's about it. So I trust Straga is going to be okay here. Normally you would want to have a little bit better defense than what I have. But I also am not too worried. In this case, I'll go ahead and do just Ultimas. Strago doesn't have the same pedigree in terms of magic power as Realm does. So doing 2 Ultimas and a tier 3 magic spell is probably the fastest way through this for this party. One thing I will note, he does have mute though. So I'll do this just to kind of prove the point. Strago got hit for what? Give or take about 1,500 there. So if I end up getting more damage here, like now, if I let things be, like Strago would be down to basically nothing, and it'd be like anything happens, he's dead. So like sometimes you do have to preemptively heal. It's just a good idea sometimes just to be safe. You don't want to necessarily burn all of your items, but that's also where like knowing boss HPs and everything else kind of helps. You can kind of avoid certain situations. I did that more illustratively. I knew I was good, but I'm not overly worried, to be completely honest. So I know Edgar's dead, Locke is alive, so I'm going to make Locke character 5 and Edgar character 6. I believe I picked up Doom somewhere along the way. So, just to talk through this as I go, I really do want to do insta-death on the his right arm. Most people call it long arm. So tier 1, I'm really thinking about how to get insta-death down as quickly as possible. And then just careful counting of the damage on head, because it has 30k. Oops, I forgot who had the Lumina. Just gonna end this tier. So the left arm has about 27 grand. So I was kind of doing the math in my head there of like the ultimate did 8, Sharkins do about 9, need Celeste to do about 9 or 8 or 9. Fastest way through that is just buzz through it. I already got the head down. I focused on it just to make sure that that was safe. This tier, I'm going to do something very similar. I'm really looking to just do the quickest possible thing in terms of just getting some of the enemies down. You can use break on tier 1. You cannot use break on tier 2 on tools. So I use Doom there just because that's, I know that works, obviously. So I want to use Ultima on Realm. So that's a really unfortunate quarter, like hitting that many people, everything else. Now I do have a Mega Elixir. But I don't need the Mega Elixir. So this is the luxury you get for, since I did the, like, tiers the way I did where I killed Magic first, I could use Phantom, not have to worry about a quarter counter hitting the whole party. So I intentionally kind of dodged some time there by getting Magic down, then using Phantom. It's a good way if you don't have a lot of healing to kind of maneuver your way a little, you know, around the seat a little bit. It does put me at risk if you get quartered and then you get Mertoned at the beginning of the next tier, or W-Wind. So W-Wind could hit me here. I'm playing the game such that I'm not too worried about W-Wind, but so I'm gonna lose at least one person, if not two. So Murasame is gonna be thrown here just to guarantee the kill. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. So this is a little bit of a dangerous spot. I'm going to let him take one turn. So now I know that his ATB is up. So the reason I did that, just to be clear, so I want to get Phantom on. I knew he's in media at this point. So I'm intentionally kind of setting this up so that I get calmness and everybody's vanished. I kind of had to do that way specifically because of the way that Strago did. If I did it differently, if I did the like if I did Fader and then his ATB just about ran up, what would have happened? I would have got 2 Meteos, and the second Meteo would have hit everybody. So there's a 50-50 shot basically of Strago dying, and Strago dying there would have been a huge waste of time. Like, you really don't want to take a death at that point. So what I'm going to do here is really just try to count out 62,000 damage as quickly as I can. I have all the tools. So these last 3 turns basically finish it. I'll queue up this Ultima, but I don't even need it. So Shadow's Shuriken ends the fight. And GG's. Yeah, there's more speed to be had in that seed, unfortunately, but losing the 3 minutes or so to Blue Dragon at the beginning was definitely the highlight of where I lost time. Rest of the seed, though, I played relatively well. Burning House was obviously an answer. I don't know if it was the answer. Another place where I could have lost time is going to Floating Continent. If I did Floating Continent and that was the right answer, then that changes everything in terms of the routing of the seed. That could be the case. It may not be, but that's the other potential place where I lost time. The highlights in terms of actually getting through the seed is definitely experience eggs. If you get an experience egg, pairs really well with physical attackers and throwers. And throw is usually a physical attack weapon when you're going really fast. So I think getting the experience eggs as early as you reasonably can afford them is a good thing. If you can sneak it in, obviously sell whatever you need to sell. But also, I probably took about 20 seconds too long to decide what to sell and what not to sell. I could have went a little bit faster if I had the gold hairpin, but I also made up the time that I lost making a decision on the gold hairpin by going faster with if I walked away at that point and just said, you know what, I want the gold hairpin, that Kefka fight is nowhere near as fast as what it just was. So I made up the time. A little unfortunate, but that's just RNG being RNG. So with that being said, good seed, good. It's a good challenge for people because it wasn't straightforward per se, but I would say, again, the death to Blue Dragon's the one thing that, if I could have it back, I would not route it that way. It was bad luck that I didn't get Fire 3 to come out. If I got Fire 3 to come out either any of those 3 turns with Celeste, that's a free fight, and I wouldn't have even had to think twice. So that's the real shame of it, is that Brontor didn't proc, but that's also how Rage goes. It's a very volatile ability because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and you have no control over one or the other, honestly. Um, knowing rages though is a good skill to have. Knowing like behemoth, box set, you know, have meteor. Um, knowing what your multi-target magic spells are. Knowing retainer shock, knowing that most of the bird enemies have arrow. Knowing where shrapnel is if you need it. Knowing where the tier 3 magics are. Those are all like good things to just keep in the back of your mind. I didn't even look at physical rages in that one. You know, Stray Cat or Gold Bear were there. I didn't need either of those at this point. And honestly, I put the Illumina on Shadow for most of the suit because I thought that was the faster way. I think it was in the end. He had the experience egg for longer and throws a really dependent ability on experience eggs or on level. So anyway, it's a lot of talking. I probably talked a little bit too much in the end, but with that being said, hopefully that's a good good overview, good watch for everybody. Hopefully it explains kind of certain things. Again, you know, I was a little too aggressive, ended up getting knocked back a little bit, so you know, again, you know, losing a few minutes there and here or there, that is what it is. But pretty happy with the seed overall, and I think that's a good like overview, stuff to watch out for, stuff to do on a Moogle Cup seed. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna cut this stream, and then I'll be back for probably something. I want to stop this video, get it posted, and then I'll kind of decide what to do after that. So everybody that's watching, anybody that's around, appreciate it, and see you all extremely shortly. All right, later.